Okay, good afternoon. I'm Trooper Jean Dark with the Texas Department of Public Safety, Highway Patrol, the Public Information Officer for the East Texas area. We're going to give you a briefing on the updates of what has been happening since the press conference this morning. So I'd like to introduce once again our Fire Marshal Chuck Allen.
Good afternoon. Thank you all again for being here. Kind of recap from our morning briefing, we announced that everyone who was previously listed as missing has now been accounted for. That has not changed. We still have nobody reported missing. At 8 a.m. this morning, we began tree debris services being allowed into the affected areas to begin the cleanup. That is continuing to be an ongoing process at this time. City is getting dumpsters in place to allow approved volunteer organizations in to begin some of the cleanup process. The city was also developing flyers with Attorney General Office information to be forwarded to the public. And that's also in the process of being completed. Power crews have continued to work through the night and through the day to continue to restore power. They are continuing to do that at this time. New news, tree debris services are steadily been working to clear the roadways in the affected area and make good progress and are still have quite a bit of work to be done. Volunteers need to continue to sign in at the Methodist Church to receive on-site work assignments in coordination with local emergency responders and law enforcement. Heavy equipment and insurance staging will be at the junior high school on FM 314. I believe that is Oak Street. The Church of Christ has asked me to announce that they have plenty of food and comfort items available at 207 Cherry Lane here in the city of Van. And they also have resources to assist victims of this disaster moving forward with furniture and items of that such. The residents of the affected area were allowed into that area with identification. There have been restricted access due to the fact that we have a serious public safety issue regarding potential oil and gas leaks. The immediate area of North Bordock has been cleared due to a potential gas leak. Centerpoint Energy was sent in along with the Van Fire Department and other fire departments that are staging to assist with this disaster in shutting off all the valves in the area to make that area safe. As of this afternoon, approximately 50 power poles have been reset, and approximately 98% of all the affected areas can now accept power. And I understand that South Bodark is the only area that is still has some issues. A boil water notice was issued by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for the cities of Van and Ben Wheeler until further notice due to a loss in water pressure, and TCQ is continuing to monitor air and water conditions throughout the Van Zandt County area. We understand that people are eager to get in and clean up. The law enforcement has been restricting access to the affected area in an effort to control congestion and more easily allow for tree services, utility services, and emergency crews to do their jobs and to be efficient and effective in doing their jobs. We appreciate the collaboration of the agencies involved and the residents. It is important to remember that while recovery is still a continuing effort, the safety of our citizens and first responders is of utmost importance. We have divided the affected area into quadrants and will be assigning heavy equipment to each area. When they're allowed access, volunteer groups will be asked to sign in an effort to track your resources along with personnel who's in there. This process will continue through tomorrow and for days to come. We're working to secure buses to move volunteers into the affected areas to reduce any type of congestion with large equipment and vehicles of unknown necessity. There are several insurance agencies staged at the Methodist Church, and we encourage the affected residents to meet with their agents, adjusters at those areas and start receiving quick benefits. While they may not have immediate access to the affected property at this time, representatives advise that there are still services that they can provide to the individuals that have been affected. Additional state resources were requested today to assist with coordinating foot traffic and security in the affected areas. If you have an electrical issue at your residence, we encourage you to contact your local service provider and not try to grab some of these trucks that are coming down the road. Those guys are for the infrastructure, and you need to maintain contact with your local provider. It was informed to us just a short time ago, Bouquet and Bose behind us will be establishing a 24/7 first aid station being staffed with nurses. And at this time, I will turn it over to the superintendent of schools, Mr. Don Dunn. All Van ISD campuses will be closed for the remainder of this week. The first day of classes will be Monday, May the 18th. Again, there is significant damage to J.E. Rhodes Elementary School and Van Intermediate School. We will not be able to have classes on these campuses for the remainder of the school year. We're in the process of applying for waivers from the Texas Education Agency, which would allow us to do two things. First, it would allow us to dismiss all pre-K through third grade students from attending school for the remaining of the school year. Second, a waiver is being written to allow us to postpone the second administration of the 5th and 8th grade STAR reading test, which were scheduled for May the 12th. Pending approval of these waivers, we are asking our parents to please begin making plans for the care of your pre-K through third grade child for the remainder of the school year. We want to apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. Again, this is a difficult time for our district and for our community, and we ask that you please be patient with us as we work to get back on our feet.
Once again, we're here with some of the results. We're making progress, but it's not going quite as fast as we'd like it to. As the fire marshal had previously stated, we have some real serious safety factors out here right now. It's just very, very important that you listen to what we got to say. We will continue, as we did yesterday, to restrict areas to be affected area as night comes to reduce the potential of looting. We're going to, at 6 o'clock, anybody that's down in that area still working, they need to proceed getting out, because after that you're going to be asked to get out by an official. This is very important for the safety of the homes that have been worked on and are working on, and this is still a disaster area and will continue to be that way and stay that way until further notice. Thank y'all.
We'll go ahead and open it up for questions that y'all may have.
Yes, you just talked on looting. We've talked to several people today that said they were actual victims of looters last night. What do you plan on doing to try to make sure that doesn't happen again tonight? I know there was a large police presence here last night. What are we doing tonight
Well, at this point in time, we haven't even heard of that at the office, and there's been somebody there the whole time. And there will be a large amount of police support and law enforcement in the area. If they would report that to us, we would appreciate it.
I've heard some confusion about who's being allowed out there to actually clean up and take things to the dump, take debris to the dump. I've heard from several people who've been turned away. Can you elaborate on what these volunteers are supposed to do if they are helping right now take down trees?
Yes, we can elaborate on that. At this time, the reason for that is the potential for injury, the potential for damage as far as the gas leaks and things of that nature. We are working toward improving on that. We still have several hazards as far as trees. One of the council persons and myself rode through it this afternoon and made a lot of progress, really have. It's been tremendous, but still, we feel comfortable letting people out there and wind up with someone hurt or injured or possible death.
Okay, and some folks were telling me that you have to have some sort of badge or permit to be out there actually working and cleaning up. Is that the case, or what's going on with the permits?
Okay. Tomorrow morning, there'll be a new program put out. We have a meeting at 5 o'clock this evening. We're going to come up and establish a better program. It's being through the state and Jeff Hudgens. We're going to have a better program for everyone to.
As of right now, they don't need a permit?
As of right now, they can't get in without their license, and it's only the residents that can get in.
As far as volunteers back there, what's the situation with them? Are they?
The ones that are back there now,
yes.
Well, they will be coming out.
Okay, and then so tomorrow everyone has to have a permit, both volunteers and then those who live there need to have licenses. Is that correct?
Say again, please.
Tomorrow morning, volunteers will need to have a permit. All volunteers helping.
It'll be a different program. There won't be any permits tomorrow. There'll be another They're going to establish exactly what they're going to do, but they will have some identification with them that they've been approved to be put in there, yes.
And then if people have debris or things that they need to throw away, are there dumps that are open to everyone? Because I do understand the dump is actually closed off to only permitted people or something.
No, it's not. It's wide open. We have the big dumpsters out there that they put the debris in. We have dumpsters on the street. We have the large roll-off dumpsters on the streets to the people in the local areas, and that's for trash. The limbs and such from the trees is in a different area out there, but it is open to all of it.
Okay, so the dump on Bodart is open to everyone.
Yes, it is.
You said people starting to head around 6 o'clock before the curfew. What time is the actual curfew tonight?
6 o'clock. Yes. Anything else?
We were also told that maybe some school buses were damaged.
That would be Mr. Dunn's territory.
School buses
Yes.
were damaged. I understand a whole lot of kids here rely on those. How many school buses were damaged? And do you have any idea of the transportation situation?
We have a total of 39 school buses. 35 of them were damaged, mainly broken glass. None of them were totaled. We're working right now to replace that glass, and we are pretty confident that we will have all of our bus services ready to go for Monday.
Okay. And how many of your students do you suspect use the bus system? Is it any percentage you can
I would
tell?
say anywhere from 65 to 75% of our kids.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to go back on your question on the tagging system. This morning we did develop a plan to allow access to VOADs along with tree trimming into the affected area from the cleanup. Shortly after that process began, we started getting information that we had people that had circumvented the perimeter and came in through other avenues. Therefore, we've had to revisit our plan. During the process of revisiting that plan, we learned that we had some issues with some of the Chevron sites that we're having to go in with Chevron once they make their area safe with their oil wells and their well sites. Then we can begin the cleanup process and a systematic, coordinated approach with those volunteers. Those volunteers will be directed to check in at the Cam Horton? At the Methodist Church. All volunteers are to check in at the Methodist Church beginning in the morning, and they will be sent out in a coordinated response to those affected areas as they are needed, and as Chevron makes their areas safe for us to safely work in those areas.
Fire Marshal or Mayor, I've got one more question for you. I was told by 2 different individuals that they were turned away from the dump. That should not have happened. Is that correct? No reason they should have been turned away?
No, nobody should have been turned away from the dump. And to reiterate on the dumping factor, we have already requested multiple roll-off dumpsters to be placed in the affected areas, so people are not having to leave that area and carry their stuff across town to be disposed of. So they will have resources there for them to at their convenience.
Thank you.
Chuck, the boil water notice, is that limited to Ben Wheeler Water Supply, or are there other companies that are included in that?
It's limited to Ben Wheeler Water Supply and the City of Van. Those that are on Ben Wheeler Water or City of Van water are affected by the boil water notice.
Any idea when the downtown area will reopen?
As of right now, our operations people are working on a plan to try to open up some of this area and scale our perimeter and coordinate off more just the affected area and get this community back to normal, especially on our major highways and our business district. But you probably won't see that till in the morning or sometime overnight.
If people do want to help, what's the best way they can help? Like I said, we were out there earlier, people were being turned away at the checkpoints. What's the best way they can help?
The best way they can help is to check in through the staging area where volunteers can check in. Keep in mind that we have to track all that. It's the safety of them as well as our responders that are out there. We don't want to turn anybody away, but our law enforcement and the safety of those individuals, the safety of our people is of utmost concern.
But how do they get past those checkpoints? They were being turned away at the checkpoints. They were not even being allowed access to the area to ask anybody any questions.
That is because they did not have some sort of pass or credentials to be allowed in there.
Okay, but I'm saying, we're talking about for the city of Van. How do they get a permit to be in the city of Anderson, ask where they can go to help, where they can check in, if they cannot even make it into the city itself.
Some of those things have been readdressed, and if all the volunteers that want to help will report in the morning beginning at the Methodist Church, they'll be able to get access. Keep in mind that we just can't just let anybody go in, because then you get into the situation of possible looting or other things, and people's property coming up missing. I know at one time today we had a citizen that wanted to take some of their family members down in there. I don't know that that's your family. You can start walking down there and you see something laying there on the ground and you pick it up. You know, there's a lot of things that go into this process, and just turning a whole bunch of people loose. If that's the case, then you know we defeated our purpose.
And in terms of family, I know I spoke with some people who were concerned about helping their loved ones get some of their belongings in damaged homes. Family members who are trying to go out there and help, is there going to be a system in place to allow for that?
They are working that plan right now.
So by tomorrow, should family members be allowed in there somehow?
Whatever the plan is that our operations people develop will be the plan that we go by. Whatever they think is the most efficient and most safe manner is what we'll go with.
Should family members be checking in at the city hall for those where the volunteers are checking?
No, family members, residents of that area need to have some sort of photo ID to get down in there. And that whatever plan the operations comes up with for allowing family in, that'll be disseminated at the briefing in the morning or via social media. Thank y'all. Yes, 9 o'clock.
Okay, thank you all very much. That concludes this press conference. We'll be back here at 9 o'clock in the morning.